G'day, it's Donna here from Australia, and today I'm going to show you how to make this butterfly slider embellishment. I'm even going to show you how to make it as a card for a little boy. I made this one here for my grandson Evan. Hello Evan, I know you're watching. This is a special video that Nanny has made just for you. All the butterflies and the little beetle that I used to make these cards today are available in my shop. You'll also get the template included in this kit. This is going to make it so much easier for you to follow along. This is the first sheet of butterflies. I have added a beetle to this sheet. This is the second sheet of butterflies. And this one here is the third. This one's got a full arrangement on it, and I've made this one a bit smaller. You can fussy cut them out or you can print them like this. I done a guide print on a piece of copy paper, then I washi taped my book page over the top and put that back through the printer. I've made it in two sizes. This is the butterfly that I fussy cut out and used on my card. So it's just a bigger sheet. What you can do here is print it out and then fold it over and use it as a page in your journal. So this is page number 4. So what's in the kit? There's a card template, a guide for the beetle greeting card, the inside beetle verse, the 4 sheets of butterflies, and you can pick it up in either A4 or US letter paper size. Let's get started. I'll show you how to make the butterfly slider first. This is just to show you that if you haven't got a lot of supplies, you can use plain paper. So for your first step, print out your template and then cut out all the pieces that you need. Get the back piece card template A because we need to poke holes in the top and bottom of these 2 red lines. They don't need to be that big, just make them big enough that you can fit your pencil through. It's much easier to see if you look at it on the back. Then put this template down on your cardstock, trace around it, and then mark these 4 holes. Don't mark them too dark because you want to rub them out. And then just cut out your card piece. For this step, please be as neat as you can because you are going to see this on the front of your card. Put your knife blade on the first dot and then cut right down to the bottom dot. Then do the same on the left side. So it should look like this for you. Now pick out your butterflies. I've already cut mine out. I cut them out right on the line, and I'll show you an easy way to make the antenna. I use this DMC crochet thread. I just pull out a piece and tie a knot in the end. Pull it fairly tight and then just cut it off at the bottom. Now you need to trim this back to the knot. Don't cut right on the knot or it'll come undone. Just a little bit past it. And all we've got to do now is glue these onto our butterfly. I'm using the Barely Art glue. I just put a little bit of glue on the back side of the butterfly. You need to be careful here because if you get glue on your card, you won't be able to slide your butterfly. So when you do this part, let it dry. While that's drying, I'm just going to cut out my slider and my stopper pieces. You could almost guess this. I like to cut these little short pieces in one go and then cut it in half. What you need for this step is your glue and some ribbon. I'm using this ribbon, but you could easily use this ribbon. Just as long as it's not too wide, it's got to be able to slide easily. This step, we're going to make up the slider that holds the butterfly. Just get your slider piece and fold it in half. I fold it a tad shorter. This way the 2 ends don't end together and it just lays flatter in the back of your card. Now get your little slider and open it up and feed it through the 2 slots. So it's going to be in there like this. Then lay it flat and push it all the way so that when you look at it at the back, the long piece is at the back and the short folded piece is at the front. This is what's going to hold our butterfly and make it slide. Now turn it over to the back and see this little slider piece here? Not right up close, but from about here, we're going to put some glue on it and close it. Don't put the glue up high or it won't slide easily. A little tip, just spread the glue out with your finger. Don't press it onto your card. Put a clean piece of paper behind it and then press the two pieces together. Any glue that spills out onto your card is going to stop this slider from working. For this step, we're going to glue the ribbon onto the slider. Same as before. Do not put too much glue on here. If the glue comes out onto your card piece, it's not going to slide. We only want the glue on the slider part, right in the center where this ribbon is. Now we're going to put the two stoppers on the end. This will do two things. It will stop the slide and it will keep the ribbon in line. Again, you only want a little bit of glue at each end of the stopper. Spread it with your finger and don't put any glue in the center here. This is where the ribbon has to pass through. And just place it over the top of where your cuts end. Do the same on the other end. I can't tell you enough how important it is not to get any glue come out and stop your ribbon from sliding. I'm going to put the butterfly on the slider now. Using a little bit of glue, I'm going to spread it out with my finger and I am not going to let any glue get anywhere else but on this tiny little piece. And then figure out how you want your butterfly and just push it in place. Straight away test it, because if any glue squishes out, it will glue the butterfly to the slide piece. So make sure it's free before you move on to the next step. Because I've used this narrow ribbon, it's a little bit wobbly, so I'm just going to put another stopper over the top just to help it feed through straight. This is optional. If you use a wider ribbon like this, you don't need this second stopper. Now this slides much better. Now for this next step, of course it's optional as well, is add some embellishment. I'm using some stencils and this Jo Sonja's texture paste. Check out my video and get this recipe for making your own texture paste. For the stencil, I'm going to use this really large template here, but only this little piece of it. I'm using a tiny little palette knife and I'm not even going to block out the other part of the stencil. I'm just going to take it really easy and use a small amount of the texture paste and just do these leaves here on their own. Once I've filled that up, I'd lift it straight up so I don't smudge it. Now this bit's dry, I'm going to add another stencil. I do block this stencil out because the other flowers are a little bit close. And then I just go ahead and put my texture paste on. Then I've got to wait again for this part to dry to finish off my embellishments. I'm using these two butterflies and I'm going to put some glue on the back. I'm using my finger again to spread the glue out right to the edge of the wings. It is important that when you glue these butterflies down that they are really flat, so this orangey red butterfly on the slider can easily pass over the top of it. Now here's some tips to gluing this card directly into your junk journal. You can do this, but you have to take these steps so your slider works. I've glued this one down, it's not a pocket behind it. You can't put glue all over the back here because you need to leave this ribbon free. Just put the glue around the edge, skip over this area where the ribbon is. Avoid it, make your glue go around it. You only need the glue around the edge so your slider still works while it's covered up. That is how you would add it to your journal page. Now let's make a fun card for a little boy. I'm using a beetle this time. I'm doing everything the same. The only difference is I'm going to make it fold down the center. So there's a guide in the pack for you. It's very simple to make a card. Just cut your slots and glue all your little sliders in place, and then run your bead glue around the edge, avoiding this ribbon area, and we're going to cover it with a mat. So just cut out a mat a little bit smaller than your card, and we're not gluing down the center, only the edges, so the slider still works. And then it's the same as the butterfly. Just put a tiny bit of glue on the slider from the right side up and place your little beetle over the top. Hold him down until he sticks and do a test. Make sure that the ribbon is pulling freely. You can embellish the front now. I'm just using this old grass stencil that I found in Mum's stash. Print out your verse, cut it out, and just glue it across the top only, and glue it into place on the right hand side of your card. It looks adorable, but I'm going to go and do one last thing for my grandson, and that's stamp his name on the very front of the card. I'm using the Tim Holtz alphabet, and I always do a test print first because I don't want to mess up his card. And then I'm just going to print directly onto the front of the card. I always do this last. I let it dry before I start sliding my beetle up and down. But there you go, Evan. Here's your card. I want you to watch out for the postman because I'm going to send it to you in the mailbox. You can make either the gift card or just this card that's designed to glue directly into your junk journal. I've made it plain because chances are you're going to have a lovely printed page that this will look beautiful on. Now you're probably wondering, what did I do with this book page? First thing, you got to get this washi tape off. Washi tape's good because it's not going to tear your paper when you lift it up. So gently lift the washi tape off, and then you can use this printed page however you like. You can fold it in half and make a page. You can make pockets out of it. You could tear it up and use it for collage. You're not limited. Just go for it. Give this one a try, but make sure you be careful running this through your printer.
Give me a reason